Okay, folks, good morning. I think we're going to get started a little bit earlier today, now that everybody's ready. My name is Kenny Leandri, Manager of Communications and Media Relations for Yankee Stadium Events. Welcome to Yankee Stadium, everyone. I think when I first walked into the room today, one of the things that first got my attention, and now as I stand in front of you, is the familiar faces that I've seen here at the stadium over the past few weeks, especially those members of our media that have been here for all these events. You guys have been here several times over the past few weeks, from baseball press conferences announcing our latest acquisitions, to a soccer press conference a couple of weeks ago, to a concert announcement press conference last Monday, to a college football press conference today. All of these events have been unique and special in their own right, and today is no different. Now, to make today's announcement, I'd like to introduce the members of our dais this morning. Beginning on my far right is the Athletic Director for Army, Mr. Boo Corrigan. The Head Football Coach for Army, Mr. Jeff Monken. The Athletic Director for the University of Connecticut, Mr. Ward Manuel. The Head Football Coach for the Yukon Huskies, Mr. Bob Diaco. And the Executive Director of Non-Baseball Events for Yankee Stadium, Mr. Mark Holtzman. Gentlemen, thank you. Feel free to make the comments at your respective seats. Boo, if you'd like to start us off today with some comments.
Okay. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate it. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Yankees, the Steinbrenner family, Randy Levine, Lon Trost, our good friend who we talk to on a regular basis, Mark Holtzman, and John Mosley is here as well. And we're just thrilled to be a part of this. It's something that we've got a 5-game series down here. We're excited to be playing Connecticut this year. You look backwards at the history of Army West Point and the Yankees, and it goes back to Ruth and Gehrig, and we're just thrilled as an athletic department to be here, particularly to announce or introduce, I guess, our new head football coach, Jeff Monken, to the group here today, and we're thrilled to have Jeff. He's been with us now for probably about 70 days, and what we saw in him was a coach who really fit the mission of West Point, from toughness, from effort, passion, the ability to gain trust, and the ability to gain kind of togetherness. And it's something that we're thrilled to have Jeff and his family with us at West Point. And with that, I'd like to introduce our new head football coach, Jeff Monken.
I'd like to echo what Boo said, and just thanks to the Yankees and this unbelievable organization, the Steinbrenner family, and just what a thrill it is for me personally to be here. It's my first time in Yankee Stadium, and grew up a Major League Baseball fan. I'm a Chicago kid and followed the Cubs, and just the respect I have for the brand when you see that brand that's on the front of the Yankees hat, and what that means in terms of excellence and championships, and just a thrill and a privilege to be here. We're excited as a football team for this season, for the 2014 season, and the opportunity along the way in that schedule to play here against a great Yukon team, and just what that'll mean to our players, our coaches, and our fans to be able to be here in this stadium where we have such a history with the city of New York, with the Yankees in this stadium, and how exciting that'll be for us. So we're looking forward to it, and appreciate the opportunity, and thanks to the Yankees for the opportunity for us to be here today.
Thank you, Boo. Thank you, Coach. Ward, if you'd like to take the mic.
Yeah, I do also want to echo some of Boo's comments, and thank the Yankees and the Steinbrenner family, and Mark and John for putting this game together here. And really it started with a conversation with Boo and Army, you know, probably 4 or 5 months ago. And we were excited about the possibility of the game being here in Yankee Stadium. And, you know, I will admit, and I'll cut off half of my Connecticut fan base by saying I am a Yankee fan from my days in New Orleans when Ron Guidry, the Louisiana Lightning, was here, and we didn't have a team in Louisiana. And so as a young pitcher who looked up to idolize Ron Guidry, I'm excited to be here today. excited about the opportunity, to face Jeff and his Army team as he is a new coach. I have a new coach, and I think a lot of the parallels there with where we are with our programs are there. This is going to be a great series. Our fans are excited about the opportunity to play Army here at Yankee Stadium, as well as when they come to Hartford, to Connecticut, to play us at Rentschler Field. So we're excited about the series. Look forward to being here in New York in November, and playing Army is always special. Always something as a proud son of a Army sergeant. It's a team that you root for when you're not playing against them. And so I'm proud to do that. I too have a coach who's been here, I don't know how many days, but I don't know if he knows. He probably knows how many days, but he's been working so hard to really bring in change and then invigorate the culture of our student athletes, and working really hard at that. And Bob Diaco, I think I have a special coach who has really brought to this team, to this university, into the state of Connecticut, a pride in every day and what they do and what our student athletes do, and in a sense of determination and passion for the game and for life. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you our new football coach, Bob Diaco.
Thank you, Ward. And I would like to thank Ward. I'd like to thank the University of Connecticut. I'd like to thank President Herbst for just having the opportunity to be here and represent the state, Connecticut, university, school, as the representative of their football team. It's just so great to represent UConn here. And when you talk about pride and you talk about passion, you're talking about the Yankees. And growing up a Yankees fan, you can still probably look in your logs right now. My family has had Yankee tickets forever and ever and ever, still do. So to be in the stadium, it's a little surreal. It's a great opportunity. And then to join the three brands, the Yankee brand, the UConn brand, and the West Point brand, is just a great competitive, classy, high character venue. And what an awesome thing in service to the tri-state area that the Yankees do, to have their facility open to all these different sporting events, and the high school, the New York State high school championships games are played here. In 2010, I was at the university. I was at Notre Dame, and we brought a team in here to play Army here in Yankee Stadium. So I've been here. I've been in the locker room with a football team, and I've seen the glimmer in the student athletes' eyes as they enter the stadium and are in the locker room and are on the field, and how special it is. It's a life moment. It's something that the quality of our lives are about the moments that we spend and the people that we spend them with. This is one of these that adds so much to the student athletes' time spent. And for that, our organization in UConn will be, I represent the student athletes to say thank you collectively, because it's just a fantastic opportunity. The team is training hard. They're working hard. They're focused. They have great purpose and spirit, and they really want to be good. So with that, their receptors are open to what we're trying to tell them to do, to get done, to be better than they would otherwise be without us. So, and that's how we're measuring success at this point, one day at a time. We're a process, goal, organization, and we want to go to bed better than we woke up that morning, and do the same thing the next day. So UConn Husky football is proud and honored to be playing on November 8th, West Point and the Knights of the Hudson, and Coach Monken and his new team. So it's going to be a great time, and thank you so much for allowing us to be here.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Ward. Now, Yankees Executive Director of Non-Baseball Events, Mr. Mark Holtzman. Mark.
Thank you, Kenny. First of all, I'd like to afford a big Yankee Stadium welcome Coach Diaku, Ward, Coach Monken, Boo Corrigan, Athletic Director at Army. We're thrilled to be hosting this game in November here at Yankee Stadium. I also want to thank a few people out here in the stands who this game wouldn't be possible without. Bob Beretta, who I've been speaking with since I started at the Yankees about Army playing here at Yankee Stadium, and Neil Eskin from UConn, who I've also been speaking with for a while, and I'm thrilled that this is finally coming to fruition. And finally, one person on our end who I feel needs mentioning, Emily Hamel, the Executive Director of Non-Baseball Events. I work very closely with, and none of these games could be possible without her support and dedication. This 2014 game will mark the 41st time that Army has played in Yankee Stadium, dating back to 1923. And this will also be the first time that the UConn Huskies will be playing at Yankee Stadium, and we hope over the years that this is the start of you playing at Yankee Stadium many more times, because we have a major commitment to college football, and we're here to stay in that game. Yankee Stadium is all about history, and Army is a major part of that history. Back in 1945 and 1946, we have pictures here of General Douglas MacArthur roving the sidelines at Yankee Stadium for two of the most famous college football games that were ever played, in 1945 and 1946, when Army both years won back-to-back national championships on the back of two guys named Blanchard and Davis, two Heisman Trophy winners. What a time that was. And it really ushered in, many people say that those games ushered in a new golden era for college football. We've had a lot more than football here at Yankee Stadium as well. Who could forget Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling? The wins of World War II were all around the country, and a much hyped match, and Joe Louis knocked Max Schmeling out to the delight of millions of Americans. And how about 1958? Probably the greatest pro football game ever. The game that ushered in the modern era of pro football. The New York Giants and the Baltimore Colts playing the famous overtime game when Johnny Unitas took the team down in overtime, and Alan Amici went in from the 1-yard line. And the Baltimore Colts beat the New York Giants in sudden death, ushered in the modern era of professional football. That was right here at Yankee Stadium. Then, of course, Boo, you mentioned the Yankee greats. I mean, a press conference can't go by here where you at least have to pay homage to some of the greatest ball players ever in the history of Major League Baseball, and some of the most well-known athletes of the last century and this century that have played here, including Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, DiMaggio, Berra, Jeter, and Rivera. You know, it's funny now that with Derek Jeter retiring this year, it's interesting that the big argument on talk radio right now is they've acknowledged that Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, and Mantle are 1 through 4 as far as great Yankees, but the big issue now is who's number 5? Is it Yogi Berra or Derek Jeter? And just to be able to see someone play this year like Jeter, who's being mentioned in the same breath, is really very special. I also want to give a special thanks to Army because, you know, we now have a pretty significant college football program here. As a matter of fact, we're now the host for a major bowl game going forward between the ACC and the Big Ten. And that could not have all been possible if we hadn't started with Army playing Notre Dame 4 years back. And you know, someone had to be the first game back here, and Army showed the faith in us to come back here and play a football game here after so many years. And we couldn't have done it without you, and we will always owe you a debt of gratitude because we now are hosting major college football here. And I must tell you, for pure electricity, I was at the NFL for many years, been to a lot of Super Bowls, got a little jaded. There was nothing more special than that first game back here at Yankee Stadium on the field. We had a packed house. You had Johnny Lujack and Pete Dawkins down there for the coin toss. And it was, you had the jets flying overhead. It was electric. I think, Boo, you were there. It was a very special moment, and I think we can have a lot more special moments. And I really believe that this game this year between UConn and Army will be a very, very competitive game. It's at the time of year where hopefully we'll have some nice weather. Everyone should get here early. Bob, we're hopefully going to have Black Knights Alley across the street, so everyone should get here early with their kids, and it really should be a special event. And you know, the UConn Huskies, it's great to have. I've wanted to have you guys play here for many years. Neil and I have been talking about this, and this is really one of our dreams, to get all the top local institutions to play here at Yankee Stadium. And your place on the New York sports scene, between your multiple national championships in basketball, what Gino's done in women's basketball, Coach Calhoun in men's basketball, and then your football team. We forget it was only a few years ago that you went to the Fiesta Bowl and took the college football world by storm. So you know, we're absolutely thrilled, you know, to have you back, and we really want you to consider Yankee Stadium down the road your home away from home, and hopefully this is only the start of many games that you'll be playing here in the future. So on behalf of the Steinbrenner family, the New York Yankees, Randy Levine, Lon Trost, I want to welcome all of you to Yankee Stadium. My casa is your casa, and I hope to see you all this summer as well, helping root the New York Yankees on to their 28th World Championship. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you. We'll open up the floor now to questions and answers. We have 2 wireless mics on the side, Kate and Pete on the left. If you have a question, please kindly raise your hand and wait for the mic. And once you do receive the mic, please kindly state your name and affiliation before asking your question. Gentleman in the middle here, first question.
Boo, Ron Mercantile from Examiner.com. Do you think that playing at the stadium increases the possibility of Army getting more of a national presence, and then also might in the help of promoting recruiting?
Well, it's a good question, and I think as you look at New York City and the different demographics and how it truly represents America, and where we are is representative of America as well. You know, at West Point and providing leadership within the Army to, you know, 750,000 people. So any chance that we have to get to a stage like this and an opportunity for us to play a team like Connecticut, it truly brings us forward in a way. You know, I don't know, there's 15 million people around here that have an opportunity to be a part of this, to see it, to touch and feel who we are and what we are. So, yeah, I do. I think it gets us to a grander stage and really shortens the distance from where we are to New York City. I mean, people think of us as upstate. We're 52 miles right now from where we were this morning when we left. So, again, we're excited about the opportunity.
Gentleman in the second row here on the left.
Desmond Connor, Hartford Currents, questions for Ward. Or can you talk a little bit more about the discussions to get this series going and maybe something down the road, things down the road here at Yankee Stadium, like Mark talked about?
Yeah, this was a discussion that we had to play a series with Army, and in the discussion, they said that they would like us to consider in the home and home that if they decided to move their home game to Yankee Stadium, if that would be okay with us, and I said it would be great. But as I told Boo, I said, you know, part of it is he had 2 great sites to pick. You know, I've never been up to Army's campus to West Point, and then he had the option of coming here and moving the game here to Yankee Stadium, and you know, both choices would have been great for me. And obviously, they both have a rich, deep heritage in America for what they mean. These both sites mean, and to be here in Yankee Stadium, as Mark talked about, with the greats that have walked on the grounds here, and for our student athletes, as both Bob and Jeff talked about, to have the opportunity to be here to play a game, and then for our fans to come. And you know, I've been assured by those on my staff who love the Red Sox that they will be working that day. They will get here and do the work. But even they in jest understand, you know, the importance of the opportunity for us to be down here. As for future games, you know, I'm open to many different discussions. But you know, Mark knows that playing in your home base is always important for our team and for our fans. And so, you know, we will continue the discussion and look at opportunities like that were created here with Army and moving their home game. But at the same time, I want to make sure, you know, that our team and our fans have great opportunity as well at home. So, you know, I'm open to the discussion moving forward. And I'm sure, you know, Mark is very talented and very persistent. And so I'm sure the discussions will continue for a while. And I'm looking forward to that because we have great fans in New York. We have a great fan base here. Our fans in Connecticut have shown that they will travel in droves down to New York City and across the country. And so I think they'll be excited about coming here in November.
All the way to the left in the back.
Hi, Hillary Georgie from Yankees Magazine. This question's for the coaches. As Mr. Holtzman said, Yankee Stadium is all about history. Does that add any pressure, and how will you handle that and talk to your team about that?
Go ahead, you got it, Coach.
I don't know that that the venue adds pressure. I think just the game itself, playing a great team like Connecticut, our players will recognize that team is a team that has been a winning football program, been to bowl games, BCS games, something that our guys haven't been a part of, haven't had an opportunity to be a part of. And I think just playing a team like UConn in a stadium like this is a great opportunity for those kids. And for them, it's going to be a big game for them just because it's playing a great team and certainly being here at Yankee Stadium. The one thing that's unique about the service academies is that those kids do get to experience some great venues, NFL stadiums and the Army-Navy game, and this will be one of those, as Coach Diaco mentioned, just one of those games that they'll remember. A chance to play here will be really special. I don't know that it puts more pressure on those guys, but it will certainly make the game that much more special.
I think that from my perspective, having the opportunity as a player and competing at that level, and then as a coach, as an assistant coach, and we'll be taking the team in for the first time as a head coach. In my experience, the harder you try to sequester the young men from and shelter them and keep them away, and the more gas it burns, the more anxiousness. You know, we've got to embrace this. We've got to take it in, soak it in, let it become something that becomes an energizer for the team, not something that creates anxiety and anxiousness. This great venue. Let's really, you know, interface with the organization here and the venue and have it be an energizer for the team. It would be the same thing going to West Point. I was on a staff and we took a team to West Point. It was the same thing. We got there early. We went on a tour of the campus, you know, with the team. It was fantastic. And then the next day we played the game, and I think it was 05. Anyway, it's about the game. Like Coach already pointed out, you know, they're going to be excited and prepared to play the team. And then at the end of the day, all this stuff wears off after about 2 minutes. So you take on, you weather, you attack for that initial surge, whatever it is. After that, the game settles into itself.
Hi, John Silver, Manchester Journal-Enquirer. This question's for Mark. Mark, college football is thought of as like a southern sport with, you know, Alabama, LSU, SEC. Why do you think that football, major college football, can work in New York City, and what has convinced you of that?
Well, New York City loves big sporting events, and they also love to go to venues like Yankee Stadium. I mean, we draw very well for baseball, and college football is probably the most natural complement that we have to baseball. It's counter-seasonal, so it doesn't get in the way of the Yankees hopefully making a World Series run in October, and it's it's a growing sport. It's a sport that's in the news. It's a sport that's aspirational, and it's what we aspire to having those same things here at Yankee Stadium, growing, aspirational, and it makes perfect sense. And you also had a situation where George Steinbrenner, the owner, was a college football coach in his day. So there's next to baseball, college football was his passion. And one of his wishes, and John Mosley can really speak to that better than me, in that he's known the Steinbrenner family for many years. One of his wishes was that college football be brought back in a prominent way to Yankee Stadium. And it's not like there hadn't been a history of college football being successful here. It's just we had taken a little bit of a hiatus. Was there a little bit of concern when we started out, how well it would stick? Of course there was. Anytime you try something new that you hadn't done for a while. But the reaction's been tremendous. Many of our games have been sellouts. And like I said, now we have a bowl game. We've gone from, very low picks to two of the major conferences in the whole country, with significant picks. And I think you're going to see from both conferences the major universities play here at Yankee Stadium. So I think the vote is in, and the vote is affirmative that it works well and it's successful.
Over in the middle here.
Jeff, when you took the job, did you know that that game at Yankee Stadium was going to be coming up?
I knew that as Boo and I discussed as we were going through the process, just the schedule, and that was one of the discussions, who would be playing in the years to come, and that this game here this year as well as another game next year. I'm just excited about the opportunity, sure.
And before Yankee Stadium, what was the most prominent facility you ever coached in?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to stay. I wouldn't want to offend anybody. So there's been a lot of great ones. I've been very fortunate in my career to travel to a lot of great places and a lot of great stadiums.
Gentleman over on the right.
Yeah, Ken Kreitzer, Sons of the American Legion Radio. I'm going to ask Boo Corrigan, you have a great game day experience at Yankee Stadium. Are you going to try to bring a large group of the Corps cadets down and some of the other aspects of the game that you have at Yankee Stadium to Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, very much so. We've got the Black Knight Alley that we set up. I know that we plan on doing a couple of clinics with our sprint football team. It's a lightweight football team, Ward, about 175 and under.
I couldn't play on that.
No, me either, brother. We're both good on that. So we're going to bring them down as well. Some of our other sports are going to come down and be a part of it. And, yeah, we're hopeful a lot of the Corps will come, and that's something that we've talked with both Mark and Mose about, of getting the Corps down here and potentially doing a march on. And it's a special place. It deserves the best that we have to offer.
Any last few questions? If there are no further questions, just a reminder, this game will be on Saturday, November 8th, scheduled to appear on the CBS Sports Network with kickoff time to be determined. We will now set up for photo ops. We ask that you please be patient as we remove the tables, and we'll go from there. Thank you to everybody.